today's positioning of the sun, everybody, I have a unique type of video, and as such, whenever I pull out the Google Slides, you can expect the usual slideshow partner. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. It's been a long time since we had our last video. I think last time I checked it was nearly 7 months. So I'm glad to be back. And yeah, I've been looking forward to talking about Naruto again.
Yeah, what we have here is what I'm going to call the Chunin Prime Time. In short, we are redoing every match in both the Chunin exams and the Konoha Crush arc but these characters are all in their primes. And seeing if them being in their primes actually changes the results of the matches.
Yeah, and we had decided to include Konoha Crush because it is basically just the Chunin exams part two. And in general, I think is this is where the series just became good. It was good beforehand with like the Haku fight, some of the Zabuza stuff, but this is where Naruto was in its first golden age.
Yeah, if this arc didn't happen, I wouldn't have stuck with Naruto. Like,
So yeah,
no,
that's
no
yeah,
offense to
given
the
the
water punch,
impact.
but yeah. Anyways, moving
So yeah,
forward, let's move forward with our very first fight, which was Sasuke versus Yoroi, and well, can you blame us for saying this is a no difficulty win for Sasuke?
yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about. Sasuke beat him the first time when severely handicapped. What's
Now,
really gonna stop him here?
yeah, now he has Chidori, Sharingan, Rinnegan, and is basically just Ninja God.
He would he's gonna one shot Yoroi here. There's not a whole lot Bro can do.
Yeah. Let's move on to yet another fight. Zaku versus Shino. So, just as a reminder, there is something called the Shino effect, where if you have a side character so busted you need to find a way to write them out. It's based off of Shino because he's the originator of it. And then there's Zaku. He was at his
Yeah,
prime.
yeah, no.
You
A lot
first.
of the NPCs are gonna get unfairly beaten here. There's not really a whole lot you can say when the base version of some of the characters beat these NPCs. Now getting buffed, it's even worse.
Yeah, like straight up, Shino has a whole overpowered philosophy named after him, and Zaku was at his prime before his fight with Shino happened. Seriously, I believe he died so that way Hashirama could get revived during Konoha Crush.
I don't think it was during Konoha Crush, but I mean yeah, I don't know, but it's not close. There's no point.
Up next, who versus Kankuro?
Yep. The fact we had to look up this dude's name, and then when we got it, it was a logo for a Japanese records company. It says a lot.
Yeah, Kankuro is also just Kankuro. NPC versus recurring character.
So yeah, this is going to be kind of boring for a while, seeing as pretty much everyone here is an NPC or was in their prime during Konoha Crush slash Chunin exams.
I love how you say that, and the immediate next fight is Sakura versus Ino, the very first change in results.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I feel like Sakura could have won that original fight anyway.
Yeah, that was just a case of Kishimoto not wanting to write women, but these are two recurring
Oh well.
characters. One of them gets married to Ninja God, and the other gets married to Ninja Picasso.
Well, Ninja Picasso isn't exactly a downgrade.
Oh, yeah, no, in terms of partnerships, I'd rather have Picasso over God, but.
Exactly, bro. No, but this one still isn't all too difficult, but at least there's something to talk about with this one. Given Sakura wins straight up, no draws, no messing around the bracket.
Yeah.
Loses just not too terribly.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, Sakura has Tsunade's training, and Ino is basically just discount Sakura by the end of Shippuden.
Which is a shame because I kind of liked some of her earlier stuff, you know?
Yeah. Let's move on to yet another match that, although it doesn't change the result, it does change in difficulty. We have Tenten versus Tamari.
So, again, not a whole lot of changes in terms of who wins, like Blue Fang said, but Tenten actually proposes a threat now.
Yeah. Like, even though Tenten poses a threat, I still think it's medium difficulty. One could say that her arsenal is actually kind of similar, considering she can wield a big ass fan, but it's a wind style user who's done it for life and has killed Jonin versus the Naruto equivalent of Yamcha.
Yeah. Well, even Yamcha had like funny filler moments.
And
Nothing Tenten did will ever live up to the baseball episode.
well, Infinite Tsukuyomi, but I guess that's Stylin Lee and Pervy Neji.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't remind me. I hate that.
I love that episode. Playboy
Oh.
Sasuke was like, I love Playboy Sasuke and down bad Hinata.
Playboy saw Hinata isn't even that different.
She's just confident about how down bad she is.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Oh my God.
Although, to be fair, I would have thought she would have been into Sasuke since Sasuke was that world's equivalent of Naruto, just had some pickup lines.
All right, but this is a tuning and exam video, not a
Infinite
best of
Tsukuyomi.
Naruto.
I do say it's medium difficulty because Tenten just got better at fighting, but Tamari is married to Shikamaru. And speaking of Shikamaru, he gets a no difficulty fight.
Yeah, it was already pretty one-sided.
Yeah, it was already pretty one-sided, and then you realize Shikamaru is the 8th Hokage, and Keen died so that way Tobirama could come back to life.
So, yeah, we could pretty much just say Shikamaru wins, then move on. Keen has no arguments.
And up next is yet another one-sided battle where the person with the K name loses badly. Naruto versus Kiba.
Let's go! No, but yeah, Naruto doesn't even need to fart on him to win this one.
The fart of destiny. Let me put it to you this way. Naruto is the main character. Kiba is just Naruto, but with brown hair. And a dog.
Yeah, remember when Kiba wanted to be Hokage? Man.
Now then.
What a wild dream.
NC Hammer said something about a redo of this fight that I'm going to quote verbatim. Naruto is ninja god. Kiba is an influencer who sells dog food. Naruto can skin Kiba, Akamaru, and Akemaru, serve it to them, make them eat it, all before they even process that the fight started.
It's such a shame. Like,
yeah.
Kiba's like a decent Konoha 12 member, and he still gets busted.
Dude, every member except for Hinata on Team Kurenai gets heavily safted. And speaking of which, we have our second change in wins: Hinata versus Neji.
Yeah, this one's close. Neji's prime in the Shinobi War would pretty handedly beat maybe half of the Konoha 12. But given Hinata's scaling through Naruto the Last, she gets this.
Yeah, just straight up, Naruto the Last gives Hinata the win here.
It's a shame that she didn't get much in the Shinobi War, But at the same time, Naruto the Last is a fantastic movie. But
Even if,
in terms of debate, you have to put the Last over the Shinobi War.
yeah, even if I don't like the movie because all it is to just justify having Naruto end up with Hinata when they didn't write it in, I still think it's a good movie.
Yeah,
But anyways, let's move on to the best fight of the original Chunin exams and our biggest debate. Round 2 of Gara versus Rock Lee.
this was such a tough call because as we were discussing this, we both realized this fight is so evenly matched. It's literally a coin flip as to who would win a rematch.
So, yeah, I was in the argument of Team Gara, and Pop Tart's favorite anime character of all time was Lee. And I ultimately gave it to him because I wanted to discuss more possible matches in the Konoha Crush, since that's when things get super interesting. But in all honesty, Gara holding back Momoshiki and Might Guy being able to punch Madara is basically the same damn feats. And if Lee is confirmed to be around Guy's level, they're the same damn feats.
Yeah, and while we know that Lee does not access 7 or 8, there's a pretty good argument to have that he could. It's never shown, but he definitely could access 7. 8 is a whole other can of worms, but with 7, he matches Guy pretty close. So through the Momoshiki scaling and the Guy scaling, this is completely even.
Yeah. Like, straight up, I could see arguments being made for either one winning. So could he. We gave it to Lee so we could discuss more possible possibilities because when we get to the Konoha Crush, that's when things get interesting. And speaking of which, we
So
have
yeah,
our last fight of the tuning exams: Dosu versus Choji.
I really liked Dosu as a villain going into the finals of the tuning exams. It's a shame that Gara was in demon mode.
Yeah, I think he had Dosu die so that way his body could be used to revive Minato, and then lo and behold, Minato's the one that doesn't get revived. So the strongest of those
Yeah,
three gets screwed.
it's such a shame because I really did like Dosu. But now with Choji at a much higher level of power, there's not too much to discuss. Dosu is still one of the most powerful Genin in original Naruto, but comparing him to I think it's
Shippuden Choji.
yeah, Shippuden Choji. I forget his rank, but at the same
Oh,
time, there's not a
Chunin.
whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still a Chunin. There's still not a whole lot to discuss though. Chunin Choji still pretty handedly
Actually,
gets the advantage.
I think in Boruto it's basically confirmed that everybody except Hinata went on to be Jonin rank,
Okay,
and
but
Hinata
we
did.
still agreed. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to our first big shakeup in the Konoha 12, because Choji didn't, because Dosu dies to Gara, and Ino versus Sakura was a tie, meaning they had a perfect 8. But we have 10 because Choji wins, and we're not having Gara on Demon Time, and we also have that. So I behold to you our first match that never happened in the original anime: Sakura versus Choji.
Yeah, while it is a new match, that doesn't mean it's a good match.
Because
Choji would have struggled with Genin level Dosu. Sakura punched Momoshiki with like legit damage shown, so
yeah, straight up, Sakura just has way better feats than Choji. But I'm also going to say this is going to be the end of Sakura's run. Unless you can argue that Sakura can beat any of the 8 people remaining in this arc, which I don't think she can. Uh, just straight up, this is the end of her run.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But given we weren't given a perfect bracket, these two were the outliers. So
These two were the outliers and the weakest in the ring, so we felt it was just, yeah, they lose to everyone else, so why even bother bringing them forward? And now we move on to our first major change. Since we had Hinato win the Neji fight, what we have done is I've decided to put the original fight first and then the new winner to see if the outcome changes. So Prime Naruto versus Prime Neji.
result does not change. Difficulty does. Naruto had a really tough time beating Genny and Neji, but now that we've got Ninja God, it's not very tough.
Yeah. And then let's move on to Naruto versus Hinata.
Despite what Boruto may have you believe, if
Naruto's
this were
not
to
useless.
happen, yeah, if this fight were to happen, Naruto wins pretty like, and not too much difficulty. But it is Hinata, so I struggle to see why he would fight her.
Like, let me just quote something from TFS. Yeah, I met my wife on the stage, beat her up, then I married her, and then we had kids. Oh my god, he beats his wife.
Mm-hmm. No, but there's not a whole lot to discuss here either. I mean, we know how this goes.
Yeah. Can you just keep it to the younger of your two kids? A Himawari is a pleasure, and I don't like Boruto.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Okay, mini rant. I think Boruto should have scaled back power wise instead of going above Shippuden, which should have went back to part one and been the struggle of Naruto, who's never had a dad, trying to be a dad. That could have
No,
been
they
some great character writing.
no, no. Yeah, it would have been great, but the Shonen Jump didn't want to do that. No, no, no.
Anyways, moving on to the fight that started the ship that everyone likes with no debates. Tamari versus Shikamaru.
Yeah, there is arguments to be had in Tamari's favor, but Shikamaru is Shikamaru. Even in their first fight, it was tough, but not exactly close either.
Yeah, it's straight up. What happened last time was that Shikamaru outsmarted Tamari, had her in the ropes, and then gave up before he could do anything. This is a Shikamaru who understands responsibility and has the chakra reserves to go. I think it would just happen the same thing, except he'd be more willing to take it.
So yeah, not a whole lot to speak on.
Yeah. All right. If, it's something that's bothering me, but we'll get to it later. Let's move on to the next fight: Sasuke versus Gaara.
Uh, Sasuke versus Gara in the first, like the original tuning exams. Um, Sasuke would have lost either way
Yeah. In the original Chunin exams,
because
it doesn't matter that he's matching Lee's speed. In my opinion, I don't think he did. I think he was just slightly slower.
it doesn't matter because the Jinchuriki was about to explode out of Gara, and I'm sorry, but Genny and Sasuke ain't dealing with a Jinchuriki.
Now we have Jonin Sasuke. Rinnegan
Which,
Sharingan user Sasuke.
yeah, which then does defeat this version of Gara. Even though it's a hard fight, as said here, but there's not a whole lot of arguments for Gara. He'll put up a good fight, but not beating Sasuke.
And the same can be said for Lee.
It's so unfortunate too because Sasuke had to legit steal from Lee to even stand a chance against Gara. But now
Like,
There's no there's no real way to sugarcoat it. Lee just loses.
yeah, straight up. I want to point this out. When Naruto is doing the Uzumaki barrage against Kiba, he's like, "Oh, you stole a move from Naruto." Like Naruto's like, no, Kakashi's like, Naruto stole a move from Sasuke, and I'm like, yeah, Sasuke stole it from Rock Lee, who stole it from your husband Kakashi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no matter what outcome it is, Sasuke beats both Gaara and Lee. We just put it be the same difficulty because straight up, no matter who it is, they're very evenly matched.
So yeah, while unfortunate, there's no debate.
Yeah. Up next is a fight that technically happened, but not in the tournament style. It's Kankuro versus Shino.
In the first Shino versus Kankuro, it was extremely hard for Shino because of the terrain and Kankuro's strategy. Kankuro's strategy was pretty ingenious.
But
It just so
then,
happened that Shino had more heart.
yeah. And then now the terrain is regular and Shino is busted.
So yeah, while Kankuro has gotten stronger, there's no real way for him to strategize around Shino's bugs. Kankuro will put up a fight, but Shino wins.
Yeah,
Shino wins.
just Shino wins. Moving on to a fight I'm surprised Naruto didn't get promoted from for participating. Naruto versus Gaara. Seriously, how did this boy not catch any clout for defeating a Jinchuriki by himself?
I have no clue,
He should have been
but
promoted to Chunin.
we'll see. We'll see.
But anyways, we say this is a medium difficulty fight. Because straight up, one got to keep their Jinchuriki and the other is Gaara.
Yeah, no, Gaara is kind of screwed when looking at this bracket.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, but Gaara's got to go.
Yeah, Gaara's gotta go. But in our alternate reality of primetime fighters, Sasuke's the winner. So let's look at the new hypothetical of Naruto versus Sasuke. We've seen the final
We,
Valley
yeah,
fight, right?
yeah, no, both times past the original Naruto, Naruto wins. While it's always a really, really hard time, Naruto always wins.
There's a reason he's the Hokage and Sasuke doesn't have an arm.
Well, so Naruto also lost his arm, but
I know, but like one of them had won the right to grow another arm.
yeah, that's true.
I always like to say, oh, Naruto won the right to regrow his arm.
Mm-hmm. No, but Naruto wins this. It'll be tough. They'll destroy a mountain or two, but Naruto wins.
Yeah. Moving on to a fight that would have happened in the original if things didn't get so out of hand, and that is Shino versus Tamari.
Yeah, this one actually had an interesting debate because we originally had different winners.
I was always on Team Shino, although I thought if anyone was going to beat Shino, it was Tamari.
Yeah, no, I was also Team Shino, but I never had doubts. But then the fact was brought up to me that Tamari's wind keeps the bugs off of her. And while that is true, I feel like Shino's scheming would eventually get him the win. Think of a battle of attrition similar to Shikamaru Tamari, but just a tad more difficult.
Yeah. Like, straight up, Shino and Tamari of this is basically what Lee versus Gaara was in the original. Two great fighters, just one. And even though one is objectively better at fighting than the other was his hard counter.
So yeah, it's a close one, but we have to give it to Shino because of his abilities rather than combat.
And moving on to the new hypothetical round with Shikamaru winning, I actually think this is easier for Shino to win.
Yeah, Shikamaru was my original winner, but again, when brought up to me, Shikamaru really, really struggles in when he's surrounded. When fighting Shino, you're always surrounded.
Shino is never a one-on-one fight. I bring to you Kakazu and Hidan versus Team 10 and Kakashi. Straight up, Shikamaru was most valuable in that fight because he took Hidan to another side to make it a 1v1.
Exactly. So if Shikamaru had not done that, then it's a 2v4. While still an advantage for Team 10, they're going to struggle, especially Shikamaru.
Yeah, he is straight up a 1v1 expert and excels at only that. Which makes our finals pretty damn interesting of Naruto versus Shino. Or at least I would say the finals are interesting if it wasn't clear from the jump that Naruto was going to win.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this entire bracket had to include Naruto and Sasuke because it was really just a debate of whether who would make the finals. Shino would put up a tough fight, but it's not really debatable.
Like straight up, I kind of like to call it the Gear 5 power scaling problem of One Piece where it's like One Piece you have the monster trio. You have Luffy who's 100% of the power, Zoro who's 80% of Luffy's max power, and Sanji who's also 80% of Luffy's max power. Then everyone else is just down from there. And it's kind of like this. You have Naruto and Sasuke who are the power limit, and then you take a huge tier jump and it's everyone else.
Yeah, even then, if you took someone like Lee, put him on the other side of the bracket, I'd say Lee actually beats Shino,
Uh,
but that's just not how it shook. That's just not how it was shaken up.
in all honesty, if you want my opinion, I think Shino is the strongest of the Konoha 12, not including Naruto and Sasuke.
I can see that, but that's not part of this debate.
That is
What
not part of this
is
debate.
that
What was part of the
yeah, no,
debate
what
was the
is
bracket we set up.
and Naruto was pretty much always going to win.
Yep. Although I hope I put you onto the Shino Glaze team.
Yeah. No, I like Shino. Always did.
Shino, if any fighter was going to make it to the finals, I'm glad it was Shino. I think
Same.
if anybody suffers from criminally underutilized, it's Shino and Kiba.
Yeah, and even so, Kiba got a lot of stuff in the original Naruto. Shino didn't.
Shino got 2 fights. Kiba got 2 fights, and one
Yeah.
of them he got farted on. They are both criminally.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make a video on Naruto's biggest problem, the side character shafting.
We could. That'd be interesting, but
But it's also Bleach's turn to get something.
yeah, I've not watched Bleach.
I have watched Bleach, and even though I can see why a lot of people like it, I straight up think it's the worst of the big three.
All right, but that's a topic for another day.
So until that time happens, take care, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
Yep. See you later, guys.